A St. Louis City father demanding justice for his son after he says Circuit Attorney Gabe Gore and his office failed to seek justice by giving a killer a plea deal. It is a concern viewers have brought to our attention about other high-profile cases over the last several months.
Gabe Gore has led the Circuit Attorney's office for nearly 2 years now, and now families are telling us it feels like Gore is rushing to get through the backlog of cases that was left behind by Kim Gardner, who resigned 2 years ago. Amid widespread concerns, the state determined she neglected her duties. Tonight, First Alert 4 investigator David Amilati is working to uncover what is true, pressing the Circuit Attorney's office for answers.
I told him I love him, and I said, I'm proud of you, man. You're doing good. He said, thanks, Pop. And that was the last conversation we had.
Retired St. Louis City firefighter Mark Burnett says he lives every day feeling like he's missing a limb.
Sorry about that.
After his son was brutally murdered in 2018.
He had a beautiful little heart.
Court documents say 27-year-old Matthew Mancini accused Burnett's son of stealing from him. He then forced Burnett III to kneel and shot him.
I couldn't even see my son's body to identify him. I had to identify him through a picture.
Mancini was originally charged with first-degree murder and armed criminal action in that December 2018 death of Burnett Jr. Then in 2024, the Circuit Attorney's office offered a plea deal, dropping the charges to second-degree murder and evidence tampering.
The Circuit Attorney said, let's take the plea deal. None of it makes sense. It seems like you had a great case and then you just threw it out.
Burnett calls it an insult to his son's memory.
Everybody's talking about how many cases he's closed, but look at how they were closed. Was there actually justice served for this family, for this person, or did you just close it out to make your numbers look good?
First Alert 4 Investigates has reported on several instances where violent offenders get offered a plea deal for lesser charges. First Alert 4 Investigates told you about St. Louis police officer Philip Green, who lost vision in his eye. The person charged got a plea deal. In court, Green said, I don't agree to this. The prosecutor's office has failed, in my opinion, on this one.
Justice was not served. This was an injustice for them to give him this type of sweetheart deal on a homicide.
Just this month, I talked with Gerald Christmas after the man charged with his brother's death was given a plea deal to lesser charges.
You don't think that the people that Gabe Gore has been bringing into the office in the last 18 months or so are qualified?
That's why you have pleas going up, because they don't want to take the stuff to trial. They're not trial attorneys. And you need to be a trial attorney if you're going to be in the prosecutor's office.
But what does the data say? In response to our public records requests, the Circuit Attorney's Office provided us the last 12 months of Kim Gardner's time in office and the latest data on file for the office under Gore. We found plea deals are up. In Kim Gardner's final year as Circuit Attorney, her office gave plea deals to lesser charges 1% of the time. Gabe Gore's first calendar year, his office offered 5% of plea deals to lesser charges. It's a 182% increase.
I take responsibility for everything that happens in this office. Ultimately, is my responsibility.
First Alert 4 Investigates took our findings and these allegations straight to Circuit Attorney Gabe Gore.
They're victims, and that's why you don't have victims prosecuting cases. My job as a prosecutor is different than that. I've got to step back and make the decision that is supported by the evidence, the law, in my understanding of the risk involved.
Gore would not address the specific cases and would not comment on his predecessor, embattled St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner, who resigned in 2023, saying his office is moving forward. Gore did say his office has a recommendation committee to determine what prosecutors can offer as a plea deal. He says all A and B felonies get looked at by this team with hundreds of years of prosecutorial experience.
If someone says, well, the Circuit Attorney's office is blowing through its caseload, just trying to catch up,
I promise you that's not the case. It is something that I personally take very seriously.
Gore says this is the result of increasing staff, making progress with the office's inherited backlog, and charging more cases than his predecessor.
That's the work that I am most proud of that we've done in this office, because by prosecuting those serious felonies, we got dangerous people off the street. Those were people who posed a danger to the public. And I know that that work has improved public safety and has saved lives.
Jury trials are extremely resource intensive.
That's Jennifer Joyce, a former St. Louis Circuit Attorney for 16 years who now travels the country advising prosecutors. She says plea deals are commonplace in our justice system.
That office was in absolute disarray during Ms. Gardner's tenure for those 6 years. And part and parcel of that is a lack of training and supervision of the prosecutors that are charging these cases. So it's quite possible that there are problems along those lines in those cases, that they were improperly charged.
My son would never see his son. My grandson would never see his father.
Back in North St. Louis, Mark Burnett says it's unfortunate justice doesn't look the same for each victim.
I just want something that shows that justice was served for what happened to him. Because regardless of what the situation, only one person or one being can take and create a life, and that's God. So nobody else has the right to do that. And his was snatched from us. It was somebody took his life.
Speaking further to questions about the office's pace of working through cases, according to a state audit that dropped in January under Gardner, the state says the office took 463 days to dispose of a case. In Gore's first year, his office averaged 142 days for case deposition. We also learned the office in 2022 took 75 days to file charges. Gore's administration brought this down to 10 days. I'm David Amilati, First Alert 4 Investigates.